everyone, and welcome back to Famous Pages. Today we're talking about William Shakespeare's Sonnet 116. As usual, we're going to start with a short summary and then move straight into the line-by-line analysis. Sonnet describes love as something that will remain unchanged. True love will stand the test of time. True love will act as a guide in difficult situations. True love, when there's an actual bond between people that goes something beyond the physical, that's something deeper, something more spiritual, true love will conquer all. And yes, this may feel cliche now, but in Shakespeare's time, this was the original declaration. The structure is the usual Shakespearean sonnet of 14 lines, ABAB. The meter is iambic pentameter, but it's structured in a way that the first three quatrains are essentially arguments about what love is, and the last couplet is this defiant declaration that Shakespeare gives us his promise as a poet that this is true and that this is the case for love. The tone is quite authoritative and sure, because love is a surety in the poet's life, and he's sure that whatever happens, love will remain immutable. And it covers also lots of imagery from the nautical lexical field to exploration. But without much further ado, let's see it in action. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. So let me not to the marriage of true minds. Marriage of true minds affirms that this is a spiritual union. It's not simply physical. Let me not. In other words, the marriage of two people who are actually meant to be together will not admit any impediments, it will not admit any obstacles. And he says that he is sure that this is the case, and essentially he will not accept it being any other way, that there will be something that can come between these two people. And the turn of phrase here about impediments, it's an allusion to Anglican vows. I believe the phrase was like, if there are any impediments, it's essentially the phrase as speak now or forever be silent. So if you see any obstacles or any reasons to prevent this marriage, you must say so now, or this is it. Like, this is the union of two kinder spirits who nothing else can disturb from now on, because of course marriage was forever. There was no such thing as divorce. Which alters when an alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Notice the polyptoson here of alters and alteration, so these are two words from the same root, and it emphasizes that there will not be any alteration, that true love will not change in any way, no matter the circumstances. And notice also the parallelism in remover and remove. So it mirrors the polyptoson above, and it shows that even when a lover leaves, it shouldn't change. You love up until the last moment. It's until death do us part. Even when someone dies, you don't stop loving them. That form of love doesn't change. Maybe you'll find someone else, who knows, but that true initial ideal love, it doesn't change. So initially, the first quatrain is focused on this theme of love being something that's permanent, something that's stable, something that doesn't fluctuate with time or with different people or with different stages in your life. Oh no, it is an ever-fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth unknown, although his hide be taken. Look at the start of the second quatrain. It's an exclamation. Oh no! It emphasizes that this is very emotional for the speaker, that he's sure that, oh no, love won't change because it's an ever-fixed mark. Here it references a lighthouse. It's the idea of a lighthouse that doesn't move, because it looks on tempests, so it looks on storms, and is never shaken. So no matter what happens, no matter the waves that come in, no matter the strong winds, even as all the ships around are, completely at the mercy of the ocean, the lighthouse is what is stable, is at the core, it's the thing that saves us all. It's also that image of love as the ultimate savior. And it's the star to every wandering bark. Again, we have that extended metaphor of exploration. The star to every wandering bark. The star is probably the northern star, so the brightest, the most visible, the most obvious. It's the star that will help the wandering bark. The wandering as in lost, bark as in ship. So the lovers are like a lost ship in a storm, and their love is like the northern star guiding us all, guiding all the ships even when there's no maps to help us. Or it's like the lighthouse that's fixed and clear and strong, even when all around it the world is falling apart. But its worth unknown, although his hide be taken. So there's a paradox here, that love's value is immeasurable. You don't exactly know the value of the love that you have. You don't exactly know what is this love even? What does it look like? How much is it worth? Why is it that with this specific person it's this way? The only way that we can tell love is from its coordinates, it's from its position, so its height is measurable. In other words, we don't know what that star looks like. We just know where it is. So the same way, we can't exactly explain what love is or why it is, but we can see it when we see it because it has that identifying factor of being what leads us when we're lost or what stands strong when we are, being shaken. So in other words, the theme of this second part of the quatrain and the second part of the sonnet so far is that we have this development of this initial idea from love as something that doesn't change to love that is maybe not so simple to understand, but easy to identify because it's so strong and firm and stable. Then we have the next few lines. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it out even to the edge of doom. So love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks. In other words, love won't be tricked by time. Love with its rosy cheeks and lips, it might be innocent, that usually connotes innocence, this rosiness, this naivety, this youth, but no, it won't be time's fool. It won't let time play its cruel joke. Or this could also be a symbol that even though the youth might fade as we proceed, the love won't fade. So people get older, but true lovers, even when they get older, they shouldn't be shaken. And if they are shaken, then clearly they're not in love and something needs to change in that relationship. So the idea here is that love will not really be faded by time. So in this battle of love versus time, as is the theme of these next few lines, it's love that will emerge victorious. And it says that love will not be the fool, even though it admits that it will come within time's sickle. So time's sickle here is an allusion to death, like this idea of the grim reaper with his sickle. So it's like, even though love will be within that compass, because eventually we will die, and that love will suffer from it, it still won't be the fool. It still won't be the losing party. Love alters not with his brief hours and weeks. So love doesn't change as time's hours and weeks pass. And we have a bit of a contrast here. So love is this enduring factor, but time has brief hours and weeks. So it's strange, isn't it, that time is what keeps us kind of stable, what keeps us mortal. We have so little of it. And yet love endures. So love might come within time, love might come within the compass of death, but true love won't fade, even though the beauty will. So even though we age, love is still more enduring. We love still stronger than the time that passes. And there's a hyperbole here, of course, in the edge of doom and judgment day. So in other words, true love will survive right up until our last moment when we're judged, when we die. And then we have the last little couplet, which is Shakespeare's guarantee. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ nor no man ever loved. If I'm wrong, and this is proven to me, then I have not only never written this sonnet, but nor has any man ever loved. In other words, this sonnet is proof that love exists. Because what he's saying here is that if love doesn't exist, you're proving me wrong. But by nature of writing the sonnet, I'm showing to you that we understand what love is, and that therefore love exists. It's a bit circular, but you get the romantic argument here. In other words, he's saying he's so absolutely sure that this is an absolute claim. It's not really a conditional, because he's saying like, oh yeah, okay, if love doesn't exist, but it clearly does, because I wrote this. And even if you don't think it exists, you have already read this poem. So in other words, no matter what you say, this is his defiant claim that love exists and it's in this form. So love's unchangeable, love's steady, love's strong, love acts as a guide, and the true bond between people will survive no matter the circumstances. And that's his assurance. And if he's wrong, then he never wrote this poem. But he did. So he's not wrong. So it's a very kind of certain and assured tone. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed my analysis of the sonnet. I hope that I managed to explain it in a way that's clear. Thank you so much for watching the video up until now, and I'll see you next week.